Hey everybody, welcome to the kitchen. Trying to get out of that sunlight over there so it doesn't screw up the camera. But anyway, today we're making a really, started to say easy dish. One of these days I'm going to quit saying that because it just is repetitive and y'all are like, give me a break, lady. But this is one that if you haven't planned ahead, you haven't thought ahead, as long as you have these ingredients on hand, you can throw it together amazingly quick. Smoked sausage, it's called smoked sausage pasta. Smoked sausage thaws really fast. So if you haven't planned supper, you could throw it in the sink in some warm water and it'll be thawed in no time. The recipe serves 4, and that's all I'm cooking tonight. I'm not doubling it. So it uses a ½ pound of smoked sausage, which that's a little weird because then you have a ½ pound left and, you know, whatever. I just cut my whole pound up for the recipe, put the other half in the refrigerator, and I'll use it through the week for our breakfast. So it works out great because we love smoked sausage. But it's super simple, really flavorful, lots of good ingredients. So I'm going to flip the camera down. Like I said, I've already prepared or prepped the sausage. It's in the skillet. I've got a little bit of lard in here. And we're going to add some onions, some mushrooms, a little seasoning, let that cook down. Throw in some roasted red peppers, toss it with some pasta, sprinkle Parmesan cheese, and boom, you're done. It's really, really good. But let me flip this down and I'll get busy. Okay, so like I mentioned, I've already cut up the sausage. That's a ½ pound, 8 ounces. Threw it in the skillet. It calls for 2 cups of fresh mushrooms. Now I have shiitakes here. I've already cut up most of them just for the sake of time, but I wanted to show y'all shiitake. Yeah, and I cut my thumb earlier. That was fun. Shiitakes, you want to pull the stems out. Y'all know I don't believe in wasting or throwing any kind of food away, but these little boogers are tough and fibrous. You don't really want to eat those. So you just pick the stem out, and like on these, I'm just cutting them in little strips. I mean, you can cut them in chunks, squares, mince them, whatever works for you. I just like the little strips. I just kind of like how it works. This one's a little bigger, so I'm going to cut it in half and then go this way. So it also the recipe calls for 2 ounces of sliced onion. So I did that already, just sliced it kind of thin. And again, cut it however you want to. If you want to chop it up, chop it up. If you want to use trilogy, use trilogy. That works just as well. So I'm going to get this in my skillet. And this is also one of those recipes. It can be flexible. If you want more onion or less mushrooms or whatever, go for it. I'm doing it as the quote-unquote recipe says, but just like I said, do whatever you want to do. Then we need 2 teaspoons of minced garlic, and I've got my roasted garlic here, and I'm gonna dig out some of that garlic oil in the bottom because ooh, it smells good. And just kind of give it a rough chop. It's super soft. I like working with roasted garlic because it's just easier. I mean, fresh garlic is amazing and medicinal and so many things. It's just takes a little more time to deal with it. So when I'm kind of whizzing through a supper dish, I usually just stick with the roasted because it's quick. And don't want to leave any of that behind. Okay, so I'm going to flip the camera over here. I really just wanted to show y'all about the mushrooms and using shiitakes. This works great with portobellos, creminis, which are baby portobellos, blue oysters. I've never tried lion's mane, but it'd probably be fine. I would never use the little white button mushrooms that are, you know, prevalent in the grocery store because those things are, I don't like them personally. There's really not much nutritional value to them. It's just kind of a waste of food. So anyway, let me move my camera around and I'll show you what's next. Okay, so got my skillet here, got a little oil in there. It calls for like 2 tablespoons of lard. And then, of course, your sausage is going to render some fat, which you want. That's pretty awesome. And it's going to help get your onions to soften up and caramelize. And I usually will let this go for just a couple minutes and then add my mushrooms because I don't want my mushrooms to get, excuse me, overcooked. And I want my onions to get soft. Now, if you like crunchy onions, then do it all at one time, but I kind of do it in 2 steps. So I'm going to let this, and sorry, when I add my mushrooms is when I'm also going to add a teaspoon and a half of dried basil, half teaspoon of salt, quarter teaspoon of pepper. I already measured it out, and actually I'm just going to dump it right here, and I'll just do, so there's that step. I'll do all that at once. Fresh basil is fantastic in this dish, but I didn't have any handy, so we're going with dried. It works just fine, but fresh is really, really good. Okay, I'm going to let this go a little bit, and then so y'all don't have to listen to the popping, I'm going to pause, and then I'll bring it back, let you know how long. I just always kind of do this, so I've never paid attention to the time. I will this time, and I will let you know how long I let it go when we come back to add the mushrooms. Okay, here's a little tip for you. If you don't want your sausage to get too fried and lose too much of the fat while you're waiting for your onions to soften or your mushrooms or whatever it is you're doing, put a lid on it. It'll help this, it'll capture the steam, so the water will go back, the condensation will go back into the pot. Your meat and your onions will more kind of steam than fry, and it'll just keep everything a little softer and just give it a little bit, in my opinion, for this type of dish, a nicer texture and flavor. Okay, so that went for 5 minutes on about a medium heat. And see, my onions aren't totally soft, but they're getting to where they bend. So they're in a good place, and when I add the mushrooms and let it all finish coming together, it'll be just right. All right, so that was, again, my 2 cups of mushrooms, the basil, and salt and pepper. Whew, smells good. So we're going to stir this around. Your mushrooms will, depending on which kind you use, if you use the button mushrooms, they're just going to release a lot of water, and then you'll have a kind of a runnier sauce. But the more nutritional, I guess I would say, mushrooms like shiitakes, creminis, blue oysters, those types of things, aren't going to just put out a bunch of water, and they're actually going to absorb some of the fat. And so you can tell, see, the fat and the water that was in my pan has soaked up into those mushrooms. Yum. So I'm just going to get this mixed in real good and then throw my lid on. And you just want to let it go. Again, I'm going to time it because I hadn't done that before, and make sure that I've got the right instructions for y'all. And let this go until your mushrooms are softened. And I'm going to guess it's probably going to be another 5 or 6 minutes, but we'll see. I'll be back. Okay, so there we are. Whoops. Mushrooms are looking just right. The sausage, the onions are soft. This is good. And it smells yummy. So what I'm going to do now is throw in a cup of roasted red peppers that have been sliced. And these just, I don't know, maybe it's the kind I buy or whatever, but they just kind of turn to mush. My roasted red peppers never really stay in good strips. I don't worry about it, but it's just the way it is. So if you find some that stay really nice, I mean, these are Mediterranean organic. They're really good quality, but they just fall apart. And like I said, I'm okay with it. But you just mix this in. Now, the last thing, if you're about to serve this immediately, then while you're doing this, you want to be cooking your pasta. Have this together, drain your pasta, toss it in here, Parmesan cheese, sit down and eat. And that's all there is to it. I'm not serving it right now. I'm fixing to go outside. My husband's outside doing some work. I'm going to go out and help. And then we will come back and have dinner in a little while. So I'm just going to leave it sitting here with the lid on, just like that. I'll come back and I'll do my pasta. I'm super excited. I found this sourdough spaghetti. Bio Nature is a fantastic brand. So I'm going to try that for the first time. And then sprinkle some fresh Parmesan on there, and that'll be supper. So I'll show y'all the finished product, but right now, this is kind of our main sauce. So I'll be back with a little clip and let you know what it looks like. Okay, here we go. I have got the finished sauce. I cooked 6 ounces of that sourdough spaghetti. The recipe is really angel hair, but I really wanted to try this sourdough spaghetti, so I just did it instead. So, you know, you can do whatever you want to do. You could use other pasta. If you want to do a rigatoni or a penne or tagliatelle or ramen, whatever. You do you. I wish y'all could smell this. It smells amazing. You know, the other thing, you can also add other vegetables. You could throw in fresh green beans, some broccoli, zucchini, any of that stuff would be awesome. Instead of the roasted red peppers, you could use fresh tomatoes. Couldn't think what I was trying to say. Oh, Lordy, this looks good. But I mean, it's just kind of whatever you want to do. Now, one thing, little tip, if you may already know this, but whenever I drain my pasta, I always toss it either in olive oil or butter, depending on what I'm serving, how I'm serving it. This dish, I think, could go either way, and it would be fine. But I threw olive oil on it. It just helps it keep from sticking and helps it separate real good. And then it also lends a really nice flavor into the dish. Okay, so here's my plate. I'm going to put a big old pile on it. Probably ought to have a spoon over here. Y'all. Oh, good. Dropped some. That's perfect. Like my dang stove's not dirty enough. Give me something else to clean. That's always good. So do that, and then take a little fresh, I grated this, real Parmesan. Ooh, and the salt in that Parmesan is so, whoops, I'll just throw that on the plate. And there it is, smoked sausage pasta. Y'all give this a shot. It is amazing. Let me know what you think, and I'll see you here on the next video.